The drama surrounding Shadur Sanders has turned the Cleveland Browns quarterback room into ground zero for one of the wildest controversies the NFL has seen in years. It started with a press conference that should have been routine, a rookie answering the same recycled questions under the bright lights of the media circus. But what followed wasn't routine at all. It was a calculated rebellion that sent shockwaves through the league. Shedeur walked in wearing the crisp Cleveland Browns jacket, that unmistakable aura of confidence surrounding him like armor. Cameras flashed, reporters leaned forward, and every microphone in the room pointed his way. But when the first question came about his chemistry with the first-team offense, he didn't say a word. He simply mouthed his answer, lips moving deliberately, eyes fixed on the press corps with a quiet defiance that cut deeper than any soundbite ever could. The silence wasn't a mistake. It was the message. Within minutes, confusion rippled through the room. Was his mic dead? Was this a prank? But as the second and third questions rolled in, the same eerie silence filled the space. Shedeur's lips moved, but no sound followed. It was like watching a man communicate in a language no one else could hear. By the time the footage hit social media, chaos had erupted. Clips went viral within the hour, Shedeur trolling the press, Shedeur's silent protest. The Browns' new QB turns press conference into circus. Fans split instantly. Some called him a genius, saying he was protecting himself from a media machine that chews up and spits out young stars. Others saw it as arrogance, a rookie mocking the very institution that gave him a platform. But to Shedeur, it wasn't arrogance, it was survival. Being the son of Deion Sanders means he's lived under the spotlight since childhood. Every word dissected, every statement twisted. This wasn't rebellion, it was armor. If the media couldn't twist his words, they couldn't define him. He gave them nothing to manipulate, nothing to headline. Just silence. But that silence hit the NFL like a grenade. By nightfall, word reached the commissioner's office. League executives called it a mockery of the media process. ESPN anchors debated whether Shedeur's actions were grounds for fines. Local radio hosts described it as a meltdown at the highest level. By morning, the headlines were everywhere. NFL furious with Shadur Sanders. Browns rookie defies league tradition. Cleveland in chaos, again. Inside the Browns facility, things got even messier. Kevin Stefanski, already under pressure to stabilize his quarterback room, found himself in the middle of a firestorm. General Manager Andrew Berry received calls from league officials demanding answers. The word fine started floating around. And in the background, Joe Flacco, the aging veteran who once led the Browns to the postseason, reportedly vented to teammates about the distractions. Flacco's frustration was understandable. He's at the tail end of his career, fully aware that his arm isn't what it used to be. He knows his role, mentor, backup, security blanket. But when the team's QB3 starts stealing headlines from the entire organization, even the calmest veteran starts to crack. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, the newly anointed QB1, stayed quiet. His camp didn't say a word, but everyone knew what silence meant. It was opportunity. Every ounce of controversy surrounding Shedeur made Gabriel look like the safe choice. The coachable one. The controllable one. Still, Shedeur didn't flinch. He showed up to practice the next morning like nothing had happened, headphones on, eyes forward, walking through the storm with the kind of calm that made it clear he wasn't backing down. That only made things worse. To his critics, it was more arrogance. To his supporters, it was unshakable confidence. Either way, Cleveland had lost control of its quarterback room. Inside Berea, tension crackled through every meeting, every practice. Coaches barked louder. Players whispered more. Reps were quietly shifted, Gabriel taking more with the first team, Flacco reclaiming veteran time, and Shedeur's snaps shrinking. On paper, it looked like discipline. In reality, it was politics. The league doesn't take kindly to being embarrassed, and the Browns were under pressure to send a message. But here's the twist. Despite fewer reps, Shedeur still made noise. During one drill, he fired a 30-yard strike between defenders so sharp it left teammates speechless. Some walked over and tapped his shoulder in solidarity. They saw something real in him, authenticity, rebellion, leadership without permission. In a league built on hierarchy, that kind of energy is magnetic. Outside the locker room, though, the noise was deafening.
ESPN ran the clip on repeat.
Stephen A. Smith thundered from his desk, "You can't come into the NFL and refuse to speak. That's not leadership, it's arrogance." Pat McAfee laughed on his show, calling it the most college move of all time, but admitted he respected the message, refusing to let the media twist your words. Cleveland's fan base fractured overnight. Half praised Shedeur as a genius for standing up to a broken system. The other half called him a distraction, accusing him of dragging the franchise into another circus. Rival fans had a field day. Steelers and Ravens supporters flooded Twitter, mocking Silent Sanders, joking that he wouldn't need to call audibles because no one could hear him anyway. By midweek, journalists were fuming. Beat writers labeled it disrespectful, calling for the league to restrict his media access entirely. National columnists turned it into a morality debate. Was this immaturity, or a young man protecting himself from exploitation? Every show, every podcast, every article had a take. The NFL media machine wasn't covering Shedeur anymore. It was hunting him. And inside the Browns facility, the fallout was immediate. Practice sessions turned cold, mechanical, tense. Players felt the shift before the first whistle. The air was thick with distraction, like everyone was playing under a microscope. Coaches couldn't stop it. Because once the commissioner's shadow looms over your team, you're no longer just running plays. You're running from scrutiny. Rumors spread that the league had privately warned the Browns to get their house in order. Translation: silence your rookie or we will. Kevin Stefanski, already balancing on the edge of job security, now had to control an internal rebellion. Andrew Berry juggled angry calls from league reps, player agents, and an owner furious about bad press. Inside the locker room, lines were being drawn. Some players rallied around Gabriel, the quiet soldier who followed orders. Others admired Shedeur, seeing his defiance as strength. Even without speaking, he'd become a symbol, a mirror reflecting everything wrong with the NFL's power dynamics. But power doesn't like mirrors. And the more the league pushed back, the more Shadur's legend grew. The silent rookie who dared to challenge the system. The quarterback who said nothing but somehow said everything. For Cleveland, the situation spiraled into something far bigger than football. It became cultural, philosophical. Fans weren't just arguing about who should start, they were arguing about freedom, control, authenticity. And that's a war no franchise can win. By the time the dust began to settle, the Browns weren't just managing quarterbacks, they were managing chaos. Joe Flacco's legacy fading, Dylan Gabriel's composure questioned, and Shadur Sanders standing in the middle of it all like a storm no one could contain. His silence, once mocked, had become a rallying cry. Because when the league, the media, and the fans all demand your voice and you refuse to give it, that's not weakness. That's power. So what do you think? Was Shadur Sanders protecting himself from a predatory media culture, or did he ignite chaos in Cleveland at the worst possible time? Drop your thoughts below. And if you're here for the truth behind the NFL's wildest stories, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. Because trust me, this storm is far from over.